Hello people, Awesome50 here, back again, and today I'm going to talk about the game Starfield, okay? This isn't a complete overview on Starfield, because I'm still actually playing the game. I'm only about, let's just say 24 hours into the game, and so far I'm really enjoying the game. I've seen quite a lot of people on the internet flaming the game, saying that Bethesda promised some things which they never actually kind of delivered on, simply well, more meaning the exploration side of things. Now, yeah, that is something they didn't actually really give us. We have the illusion of exploration, but really it's completely false. I kind of learned this when I first started my, dogfight in space when I was fighting my first ship, and I thought I was actually flying everywhere and like dodging missiles, etc., etc. But it kind of turns out I really weren't. I was just going around in a complete circle because that's how the mechanics of it kind of work. So I do feel as though it was kind of rushed, and we were kind of sold something which we never actually got. So basically, when you're in the ship, you can speed boost, you can alter your engine speed, how fast you're going. But the truth is, the map looks huge, which you're kind of flying in, but it turns out it's really not that fucking huge. You can only go so far. For example, you can't exactly fly to a planet. You've got to open up the star map to pick where you want to go in more scenarios. Some places you can actually just fly straight to, but not manually, if you will. An example of this is if we play any Elder Scrolls game and we have a horse, we can ride the horse to anywhere on the map. Whereas in Starfield, when you're flying your ship, you can't just fly anywhere on the map. Okay. The other downside with the exploration side is you can go to many planets on the game, you really can. But it turns out what's actually on these planets is basically nothing. Now you can scan areas, you can survey planets like you can in Star Trek and pretty much in any sci-fi film. But again, there's not much really to explore if I'm being honest. And even when you are surveying a planet, it takes that fucking long. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I was surveying planet called Tollyman 2. It took me hours, and I still haven't actually done it yet because I don't even know what the fuck I'm looking for. It tells me what I'm looking for, but it doesn't give me any idea. Plus, there are creatures on the planet, but it's generally just the same creatures on the planet. There's not much on these planets. It's pretty much a blank canvas, which is pretty coloured in. That's about it. So the exploration side's absolutely terrible. So we were kind of ripped off and we were told that the exploration would be extremely good when it turns out it really isn't. It's kind of lame and it feels as though it's been put together pretty quickly, and it feels as though Bethesda probably tried to give us what we really wanted to, but they actually couldn't. Now, the next topic I'm going to move on to is the quests. In my opinion, the quests are fantastic. They're really good. I don't see what the problem is. Some people have got some problems with the game, but they really can't really fault the quests because the quests are extremely good. It does follow the same suit as Elder Scrolls and Fallout. You do have factions. You can explore cities. Exploring cities is actually fantastic, and you can actually make choices in the game, which I presume are going to affect the end game outcome. But I wouldn't know that yet because I haven't actually finished the game. But so far, the quests are absolutely fantastic. I can't really fault them. Some of you out there are probably telling me the quests are a bit weak, but they're actually not. Again, when it comes to the quest, people, I'm not too sure what anyone was actually after in regards to the quest because it is a Bethesda game, and Bethesda now are a serious franchise where they do release the same game every time but with a different setting. So if anyone's faulting the quests or anything like that, I don't see the point in doing that simply because you knew what you were buying. What can Bethesda do differently when it comes to RPG quests? Excuse me. It's like playing if they brought out a new Witcher game. The quests are going to be pretty similar anyway because it's The Witcher. Red Dead Redemption. This isn't actually an RPG game, but the quests, the missions, whatever, they're always going to be the same sort of thing. So that's what you buy. And when you buy a Bethesda game, you're going to get a Bethesda game. That's like when they cast Will Smith into a film. If you watch a Will Smith film, Will Smith's always playing the same character. Same like Jason Statham, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. When you watch films with these people in, it's always going to be the same film and they're always going to play the same character as they do in every single film. And this is how it works with a Bethesda game. It's always going to be the same fucking game. There's nothing wrong with that because we wanted to buy a Bethesda game. We knew what we were going into. So the quests are fantastic. Again, I'm talking like this because I don't actually want to reveal any spoilers or anything like that. But people, if you're going to buy this game, please bear in mind you're buying a Bethesda game. When it comes to quests and having different factions, side quests, and activities, they're always going to be the same as they would be in an Elder Scrolls game. Okay. Now my next topic. Why is it taking so long to release Starfield? To say that, the game's good. It's fantastic. The game is actually fantastic. But the only fault is, why is it taking them this long to create this game? I don't get why Bethesda's taking this long to make this game, because they haven't, as I covered before, they haven't done much different apart from the scenario and the setting. Everything else is pretty much very similar. Obviously, the quests take time to write, etc., etc. But still, I feel as though they've really dragged out making this game. Because, as I covered in another video, Bethesda, they've just been palming us off with, you know, Skyrim re-releases and Elder Scrolls Online, Fallout 76. They've just passivated us for years to the point where they want to make a couple of quid by releasing another game. So that's what I don't like about the game, but that is not the game's fault. That's Bethesda's fault. So we can't really take that out on the game. Uh, Another thing, well, I like, again, it follows suit. It's like, for example, in Fallout, where you've got the death claws. In this game, you've got the terramorphs, which are just death claws, but a bit more, you know, they crawl and they have like a hallucination power or something they do to your character. Anyway, they're basically like the same kind of creatures, so they've kind of copied that off. Elder Scrolls, you've got dragons. Well, in Skyrim, you've got dragons. Daedra in Oblivion. They give you like one main bad guy to be scared of, which is like, well, one creature to be scared of, and in this game, it's the Terramorphs. And you do like a quest where you kind of make them extinct, which is kind of cool. Uh, Another thing as well, I find. Uh, I mean, it's a very good game. It is really good. It's just, again, with Bethesda, these are the things that kind of do my head in. This shouldn't really bother me too much, but it's when you do the faction quests and how far you get promoted. It's like when you join the Dark Brotherhood in an Elder Scrolls game. The end result when you finish all the quests is you're in charge of the Dark Brotherhood. Or like when you're doing the Mages Guild and then you end up being the Archmage at the end of it. It's like, come on, people, why are you doing this? Like, you know that's so fucking unrealistic. Uh, they they don't, they kind of do that in a way in Starfield, but not as bad. But still, they could ease up a bit. It's like I did all the Terramorph quest. I'm a Class A citizen or Class 1 citizen. I'm kind of a famous person. I stopped the Terramorph threat. Well, technically, my character did do that, but they treat him like a god afterwards, and I don't think they really should. But that's just me. It basically, that just affects my own roleplay. Now, coming back to the roleplay element, there is a lot of roleplay into it because you get to, when you get to create a character, you can really create a character, get stuck into creating a character, which is absolutely pretty decent. The character's got certain traits and personalities you can assign. Like, for example, my person is introvert, alienate, and he's also wanted. And these traits kind of affect the game and how you're going to speak people. Like my character, I've created like a Han Solo kind of guy, and his role is a space scoundrel. Now, to me, that's pretty interesting, but so far I haven't been able to use my scoundrel speech much. If not, I've only actually been able to use it once. So I feel as though the game's been a bit lazy in that regard, because I seem to have to work a bit too hard on my own roleplay. Uh, the start of the game where you start off in a mine, that's pretty interesting. You can work with that. But I have to confess, I kind of preferred Elder Scrolls, like starting opening scenes where you're always in jail. It's possible you're going to get executed. Now that would have been better than starting us off like in a mining plant. Yeah, I felt as though that was pretty fucking weak. They should have, in my opinion, dependent on what kind of trait you are, sorry, role. So if I'm a space scoundrel, don't start me off in a mine. Start me off doing something else. Maybe I'm in the middle of escaping from a heist or something like that. Or if you select the bouncer trait, you should technically start off in Neon as a bouncer, then take it from there. Not always start off in a mine, because it's so difficult to roleplay when you're already doing a job in the game. So I've got to think, why is my character in this mine? Oh yeah, okay. I'm gonna pretend that my character was on the run and he applied for a job in the mine. But then again, your character's really good friends with Lynn at the start, and Lynn is the supervisor of the mining plant. And you never really know how long you've actually been on the mining plant because your character knows her quite well. But then again, it's your first day. Again, and another thing, you touch the first artifact, and a guy called Barrett comes and he gives you his ship, and he's also touched the artifact. Why didn't Barrett just come with us? Why did Barrett stay on the land in the mine, sorry, and give you his ship? That is not explained. They tried to explain it, but they explain it away very fast, and I don't actually like it because, again, when I said about when you do faction quests and you move up a little too quick, that's like that. Why would some guy give you his fucking ship just because you touched an artifact? It was never planned this either. It was explained in the game that this was never planned to even happen. As in, not that the developers didn't plan it. I mean, in the in-game story, like your character's just a fucking nobody, and then some random guy gives you a ship just because you touched an artifact. It doesn't make sense. So there is some lazy writing in there, and for the length of time it's taken them to create this game, I find it's the expectations for me and some other people on the internet are pretty high, and they haven't had these high expectations. So people are slating the game now when they really shouldn't, because it is what Bethesda do. We should all know that by now. Uh, but yeah, my opinion is so far, Starfield's an extremely good game. Was it worth the wait? Hell no. I've got it on the Xbox Game Pass, which isn't too bad, but would I pay £60 for the game? No, I wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't. Uh, but yeah, it's a good game. Again, people, what did we expect in this Bethesda? It's a good game. It's okay. It's good to play. So far, is there any replay value? No. That's the one thing I've got to say. There is no replay value. The game's like Outer Worlds, but a bit different. Outer Worlds had some replay value to it. So far, this game doesn't. When you do all the quests and it seems pretty linear, they haven't actually given me anything which could be like game changing, apart from when I did the Terramorph quests and how I decided to deal with them at the end. But so far, it doesn't look like I've done anything that's going to affect the storyline in any way, shape, or form. It feels like it is linear with an illusion of roleplay, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get off now. Awesome 50 out. See you a lot later.